if we look into archery, we have a full team here since for the first time since 2012. So in our men's team contingent consists of Dhiraj, Bommadevara, Bhavin Jadhav, and Tarundeep Rai. Our women's team consists of Ankita Bhakat, Bhajan Kaur, and Deepika Kumari. Deepika Kumari, I believe she's participating in her fourth Olympics. She has been participating since London 2012. And I asked Flydon to analyze, to briefly analyze what's going to happen. What does he expect going into this, going into
Yes.
archery?
Okay, so the team is a good one actually. The men's team is I would say, tried and tested team which has won the first of the World Cups this year in Shanghai. They did not do that pretty well after that in Icheon as well as the final World qualifiers. The weaker link in this team is actually Praveen Jadhav. There were lots of reports that should there be a trial, should he be replaced with Atanu Das. Again, the question was that it is a bit late to have the trials at the end. Once that it was a team of four, and the fourth one was Mrinal Chauhan, who is any day not a good archer because his qualification scores used to be pretty weak. Like sometimes even dropping out of top 80, forget top 64. So that has happened like twice. So it's fairly a good squad because even if Atana Das comes with no experience throughout the year and suddenly goes into Olympics, it could be a very good decision or also a very poor decision. So maybe that's what we felt, that no need to take that big a risk, and we went with this trio. If you have to speak about the team events, yeah, team events have the highest chances. The Korean team is pretty good. Kim Jae-deok, Liu Seok, and Kim Ho-jin. Apart from Korea, there are a lot of good challengers. If you see the World Championship, it was Turkey and Japan that had won medals. So Turkish team is actually not a very good one. More like a momentary. They had a silver. Japan is good. They have good credentials, good performance records. Kazakhstan has once again qualified like last time. We did face them last time in the pre-quarters. Colombia is another surprise team. Then there is Italy is a good team. Mexico is a good team, and of course Chinese Taipei and China. Anyway, are dangerous. Great Britain is an okay team. On their day, they can pull off an upset. The men's team has the best chances to medal, but yeah, it's archery, and a lot will depend on the qualification. How well they shoot. Will they be able to avoid Korea? I would personally hope for a second or a third place finish, or maybe a sixth or seventh, so that we avoid Korea at least until the finals. So that would be the best possible chance. If we do end up in the Korean half, we lose them in the semis, and then it becomes a problem. Not that we can't beat them, just because we have beaten them, there would be some jitters in the Korean team. But yeah, it would be a kind of a risky thing, because I am looking at some of the Korean archery simulations are happening currently, and they are shooting like 59 and 60s in some good numbers, and they look kind of scary. So yeah, hoping that they would not they would avoid the Koreans at least till that, and then it matters on that day how well they shoot. Even Tarundeep has to do well, and Praveen Jadhav definitely. Even if Praveen shoots the nines instead of eights and sevens, it would be a help. Hope that Dhiraj and Tarundeep with Tarundeep with his experience, and Dhiraj is anyhow in good form, so they can do well. Mexico could be a very good dark horse there at those games. If I have to go next to the women's team, yeah, so it's a women's team is a bit of like a very exciting team, even though they have won literally nothing this year and came through ranking quota. All three of the athletes have had some success this year. Ankita has a mixed team medal from Shanghai with Dhiraj. She made it to the semi-finals, finishing fourth in Antalya. Deepika has a silver from Shanghai and a fourth place from Icheon. And Bhajan won the qualifiers. The way Bhajan won it was actually great. It was super consistent, 29-30s. She was shooting pretty good, and that really gives us some hope. Even in mixed team, she won a bronze with Dhiraj. So, my mixed team pick would be Dhiraj and Bhajan itself, because I guess we have watched a lot of Deepika till now, and she hasn't been able to deliver. So, maybe a little bit of an edge I'd give if Bhajan is the top ranked archer of the qualifications. Coming to women's team, yeah. So, again, China has been the best team this year, winning two of the World Cups, followed by Korea at Antalya. If you see the Korean simulation, there is where there is some surprises happening. The Korean women's Olympic team has been losing 6-0,
Wow.
6-4, 6, and so that is to junior archers and B team. And the Korean trio of Nam Soo-yeon, Jung Hing Yong, and Lim Se-yeon. And except Lim, both the other archers have been making me feel like Deepika a few years ago. The last if you watch that, literally there it's like 48 out of 50, and the last year is going in 7, 8, and that is the classical what we Indian fans used to expect. I was shocked that something like this is happening in Korea, and that in the simulation trials. and they are struggling. I think at the last simulation they picked up. The team did win. That was, I guess, 5-4 through shoot off. But otherwise, they were actually doing poorly. And Nam Suyan was very poor. Like, she was even individually, she was hitting sets of 23 and 24 in multiple matches. So that gives some hope that there is no favorite. If the Korean team has to be beaten, they have to be beaten early, because once they get set after a few matches, then they could be unbeatable. But starting, they're kind of susceptible. I mean, if we're in finals, I would not complain. But if we are faced, it's not like they'll be out of reach or something. So China has to be there. Germany is a very strong team. Both two of the three World Cup they have been on podium this year. They are the world champions, if I am not wrong. World champions probably, yeah. So that's a good trio. US is very strong. Casey Kaufhold, she's a good archer. Netherlands, Gabby Shawlesser, she used to represent Mexico until 2016. So now she's in Netherlands, and she's the Olympic silver medalist from Tokyo in mixed team, along with Steve Weiler. So that's a interesting one. Even though as an individually she doesn't have a lot of achievements. Then Great Britain is decent, but yeah, China will be strong. Malaysia could not be counted out. They were excellent in Antalya. They are not the best. Even both Malaysia and Indonesia are not the best of the qualification teams. They might finish in that 10 to 12 range somewhere, you expect. But they are a good, like, comparatively decent match play team. So if the form from Antalya repeats up, then they could spring up a surprise. Mexico definitely is there, is a good team. One of the they don't have that strong power like last time. They haven't medaled this year. Apart from Alejandra Valencia, there is Ana Vasquez, and I don't remember the third player. But yeah, it could be any day. Mexico is one challenge. There are teams like Japan and Ukraine missing in
Japan,
the yeah. And in men's, we do not have Netherlands. We do not have United States. We do not have Germany. So these are some good strong.
Who do you want in mixed team?
Mixed team, Bhajan and Dhiraj.
Bhajan and Dhiraj.
Yeah.
Okay, so what?
Even I think that that is the best choice going forward, like Bhajan and Dhiraj.
And so, what are your expectations? As in, how many medals? What color? I mean, realistic expectations.
Okay, so for me, I've been following archery for a long time, and it's always been a heartbreaker. We have been, I think, at least 5 or 6 times in the quarterfinals, and we have lost every time in the quarterfinals. The heartbreak, I think, Rio was a heartbreaker for any Olympic fan of India, and one of the heartbreaks was the way we lost the women's. I remember, I think in the quarterfinals we lost against Russia, tiebreaker literally, and very close in the quarterfinals. If you had won the quarterfinals, then the chances become really good for a medal. Last time, again a heartbreaker, but that was, I think, not India's fault. I mean, it was India's fault in the sense we always came against Korea. We had 3 quarterfinals. It was a really good performance. 3 quarterfinals in a sport which has 5 medals is actually a good performance. But all 3 were against Korea.
Atanu beat actually Korean.
Yes, in the individual.
And I think he came against the Japanese guy. I think Japanese he lost.
No, but in the quarterfinals, all 3 were against Korea. For example, we lost the men's team against Korea 0-6, which was, I mean, expected. Deepika Kumari again faced a Korean, and what her name was, again 0-6. And mixed was again Korea, Atanu and Praveen and Deepika. I think 2-6 we lost. So I think, all 3 were against Koreans at the quarterfinals. Yes, Atanu defeated a Korean early, showed a good promise. 3 quarterfinals is not, but see, the problem was in all these qualifying rounds, qualifiers, we came 8th, and Korea was always first. So 8th and first always meet in the quarterfinals. So I mean, either we do better there and avoid them, or we really go all out and defeating Korea. I think at the Olympics was an impossibility. This time, I think they're actually showing signs of cracking a bit. Otherwise, the Korean team was the surest gold medals in except maybe men's individual. They were always the strong. Even in men's, I mean,
yeah, that guy is Kim Woo-jin is the world ranked.
Yeah. So defeating Korea in archery was always is a dream. So three quarterfinals all against Korea. What do we do? I mean,
so I'd like to add to that regarding the 2012. What Nitin was saying is correct. Yes. We remember in the Lords, Deepika went into that Olympics as ranked number 1, and there was a lot of hype around her. She was a young archer doing really well in the world stage, and then she went in Lords, and the weather was terrible. As in England, I mean, always the weather is terrible. And then she came out and said that I am not used to, this kind of weather, this kind of winds. And in a recent interview that I heard of our high performance director of Archery Federation, he said that he has set up a camp in the Army Nodal Base in Pune, where they have tried to simulate the weather in Paris. And not the weather, I mean, like the surrounding. Like they have set up the gantry, the camera. They have set up stands for the crowds. There's quarterfinals, semi-finals, trying to simulate a situation where you can have an idea how it will be. We cannot simulate the weather, but we can simulate the rest of the part. And moreover, if you see, we have done fairly well in this Paris archery setting. We have already performed over here, and the setting will be same one. I think there was previously a World Cup that was held over here in the same archery range, and India did fairly well over there. So all in all, I mean, we can hope that maybe.
Can I just interrupt here, Roy? My problem is Indian archery. Okay, see, last Olympics, you can say we had the bad luck of going straight against Korea in all three quarterfinals. But look at the match in 2016 against Russia. Russia was not a strong team compared to India. India was a much better team. It was a World Championship medalist team. They lost. Somewhere they crack under pressure so well, and you can see it this Olympic year also. See, in the World Cups they've done reasonably well. Almost every World Cup we've got a medal or even 2 medals. But when it came to the qualifiers, we didn't qualify. We qualified only to ranking. We
lost to Ukraine.
Ranking was given to us. So, I mean, in the punch moments against Kazakhstan, come on, where are they in India, in international sport, at least in archery? I mean, I'm not putting them down, but they're not considered in the same path. But India keeps losing against weak teams.
One more point. The interesting part of that interview was, he said that they used to monitor the heartbeats of the archers while they were performing in that simulated setting for the Paris. And they said that the heartbeats were around, which used to be around 140, 145, we have seen for Deepika and all, that is come down to 110, 120 now. So maybe they're working on the mental thing. I mean, because they have identified that it's not a technical issue, it's a mental issue with them. It's not a technical.
So let's fly Shomu and Nitin. What are your realistic number of medals from archery?
Yeah,
give a number.
I would say I'd be delighted with just one.
Yeah,
just
same here.
one.
I just want them to break that mental barrier of not cracking an Olympics. They are a team which has the credentials, the quality to have got a medal right from 2000. In fact, forget about that. Dola Banerjee and when Dola was there, I think 2004 also, they had a strong team. So it's been almost 20 years. They have not been able to crack a medal. I think it's just a series of mental pressure points. I just hope they get a medal. That's it. That's all. Of course, if you ask me who can get a medal, Dhiraj can get a medal, Tarundeep can get a medal, Deepika can get a medal, Bhajan Kaur has shown promise. Mixed is probably where we have the best chance, as long as they avoid Korea. They have a good chance. But as Flydon said, you know,
Flydon.
That's what I mean. There are hopes inside, but on the outer side, if you get one medal, that would be a history celebration. I mean, it would mean sweeter than
I would be, just dancing in the roads if India gets a medal in archery. Seriously, I've been waiting for the moment. I don't know if when I wrote a totally Olympic prediction of medals, I said the best chance for medal in 2012 was Deepika Kumari in both women's team and this, and she has a double chance, triple chance of getting it because she can participate in all three. And